What is adverse possession in North Carolina?
So I don't know why this is such a hot topic. Everybody thinks that they can go build a house on somebody's farm and live there, and then they're going to own that property due to adverse possession. And some people call it squatters' rights or whatnot. But if adverse possession, the intent of adverse possession is that if you openly and notoriously make some claim to a portion of property and no one disputes that claim, that after a certain amount of years you can claim adverse possession. And really what that's meant for is like if you had an outbuilding that was just a little bit on someone else's property and it's there for 35 years, the neighbors can't say, hey, you got to move that outbuilding. You know, it's just but by adverse possession, because it was open and notorious, you do seize that little sliver of property that's underneath the outbuilding. But it's open and notorious. So, you know, if you had 1,000 acres, and on the back side of 1,000 acres, somebody put like a little tiny camper, and they were hidden behind a tree and everything, and they're like, you know, and they've been there for 30 or 40 years, could they claim adverse possession? I mean, maybe, but it wasn't open and notorious. And then what destroys adverse possession is if you build a fence on my property, and I discover it after a couple of years, I'm putting in a swimming pool, and I discover that your fence is over my property, and I write you a letter and I say, hey man, your fence is on my property. I'm not going to make you move it, but if it ever falls down, you can't replace it. I know about it. I'm not giving you adverse possession, but I know about it. So acknowledgement of it can destroy adverse possession, because if we know about it and you know about it and we give some kind of rules or whatever. So, you know, it's not as clear cut as everybody thinks. They're just like, you know, everybody thinks that they're going to get something for nothing. And I mean, it's complicated, and it's not. I mean, the courts don't look at it and reward any kind of sneaky behavior like that. It's meant to clear things up. It's the provision is to make things smooth or whatever. It's like, you know, if I thought this was my property line and you thought this was your property line, and that's how we lived our lives for a long time, and if, then the courts will go, you know what, you thought this was yours, is it? And they might intervene and say, okay, by adverse possession, you have that right there. The other thing too is you can obtain an easement by adverse possession. So, you know, if my driveway barely goes over the corner of your property, and I'm doing that for like 20 years and everything, and you know, and you never had a complaint about it, and then a long time later, you know, you and I get in a fight, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to make you move your driveway. You're probably not going to be able to make me move my driveway. So it's not as clean cut as everybody thinks it is.